he specifically. I know on net play he rotates through a couple things. Looks like he's going with just Axe, and already we see 59% from Noot. That is very, very impressive. And looks like Axe is going to stick with the Marth.
Yeah, so I'm kind of interested in seeing how the pace of this match differs from the Marth Ditto we saw earlier against John Wick. And it's going to be Noot just absolutely going pedal to the metal for this first stock.
Ooh, does manage to get the fall through fair. So this is a matchup that, you know, these two characters have been fighting each other for ages. You know, if you didn't know Smash existed, you would not think that a Star Fox character and a Fire Emblem character go at it every weekend, but oh my god, do they ever.
Yeah, and go at it they are. I was about to say Axe just making the most insane extended conversion I've ever seen just to miss the forward smash at the end. Ultimately finds the stock nonetheless, and he's got position right now.
Yeah, and one of those positions that powerful is what we're seeing right now, which is being above a platform on Marth. You know, he can up tilt you, up air you, and just getting those can lead to a stock loss. But from Noot, we're seeing these forward airs, which are really powerful in the matchup. Like, just a really good way to build early percent. And I love that he's using that here because it's a great tool.
Yeah, I do love this, and you kind of mentioned it earlier with just the theme of Melee in 2021 has really been Marth versus Falco. I wonder if we're going to see some of the similar developments we've seen at the tippy top of the iceberg when it comes to Marth Falco, when it comes things like the low laser into a short hop laser over the power shield, expecting Axe to get those power shields. We haven't seen much of it in previous sets, but maybe we'll get it here.
Yeah, it's basically one of those things where if you are a Falco player, and you know there is so much depth to this stuff. So basically, the super TLDR guys, and a lot of people know this, is that Marth's shield is bugged, and that they've generally heard that part. What the bug is that it doesn't follow Marth's position. So if he crouches, his shield will still be the way it would be if he was standing up. And why does that matter? Well, it makes it so that power shielding a projectile, something that's normally a 2-frame move, becomes a 10-frame window in certain cases.
Which is very easy.
A lot
For
easier.
A Melee
like
player, that's an eternity.
And the thing is, though, so the way to adapt to that as a Falco player, there's two ways. One is to go for the laser that Walt just mentioned, which is this low laser, and then a laser that you jump over. But another thing you can do, because of that very same bug, kind of it's a strength and a weakness, Marth can't really power shield super low lasers. There's a way you can do it with this thing called Z power shielding that basically no top player does. So if you're struggling with power shielding, which is not something we're seeing a lot in this set, that's an answer. You go for the low power shield. And then there's a whole nother layer where Axe jumps over them. And I'll give the mic back to Walt.
Are never ending radar. And we're seeing it, you know, back and forth here. We haven't seen too many of those unique laser interactions just yet, but I think if we get an FD in the future, that might come up into play. Something I do want to talk about, hopefully before this set ends, is kind of the adjustment Noot has been making when it comes to his edge guarding decisions. Earlier, we saw Axe just make an absolutely phenomenal tech off of what's usually a gimme dare-to-dare from Falco. And we see kind of Noot just simplifying it down a little bit. He said, I'm just going to go for ledge jump back air to wrap up the stock. And that's what brought us to these last stocks of this game one. High percent for both players, though.
I love just, you know, expecting the patience in the shield. You're absolutely right. This has been a very kind of strangely close first game. You know, oftentimes you'll see momentum swing kind of in both directions. Usually they're not struggling to kill each other, especially Falco, but the percents were kind of just right, where Marth was having that kind of Marthritis and Falco was just like, I don't know, I need a couple clean hits, otherwise I can't get this.
Absolutely. And game one is going to go to the Axe Marth. Do we have a name for the Axe Marth? Is there one that I'm not familiar with?
I'm trying to think of a pun on like axe as a weapon
like
versus
a sword.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Like, would it just be sword? But it really doesn't. It doesn't roll off the tongue, does it? I don't want it to be like Marthrax or something. We're not doing that. It's not like a sci-fi alien. So we're not calling him sword. We're not calling him Marthax. But the Marth is still legit nonetheless.
Yeah, and game two, kind of an expected counterpick, Dreamland. You know, the caster bingo card will say this is historically not the greatest stage for Marth. Bit of an awkward positioning, can't get kind of guaranteed follow-ups off of platforms as you would see on kind of a Yoshi's Story or a Pokemon Stadium or what have you. But Nonetheless, we're going to see Axe taking the first stock here, but Noot, holy crap.
Yeah, I love the decision to go for that down air. Oh, sorry, that neutral air there. You know, just a great tool to kind of extend into a down air. We're seeing the forward air once again. Another thing that Noot likes to rely on. Ooh, oh my God, that tech
Reaction,
okay,
yeah.
What we just saw there, Walt, it's called knockback stacking. It's what happens when you do an Amsa tech. All of the knockback that he got from the forward smash gets built up there, and then when he does the tech, he gets hit by a jab, and the knockback from the forward smash is released. It's a really weird mechanic in Melee, but it creates some crazy looking situations.
Yes, sir, it does. Absolutely very great situational awareness out of Noot to find that stock, but Axe is just going to say, you know what, I think I'd rather take the lead again, so I'm just going to do that.
Yeah. By the way, I do want to shout out the chat for coming up with the term max for our Marth. For Axe's Marth, sorry. It's not, you know, the craziest, but I like it. It's
He caught it without jump.
No, that is the stock.
That was so unfortunate. Yeah, he clipped Noot before he landed on the ground. No jump, and then can just pick up the stock with the get up attack from Marth. A little bit of that pushback makes it harder for most characters to recover back to the ledge. Huge advantage for Axe right now, facing down potentially a 2-0 in the set.
Yeah, and he's gone for a counter twice. This is not, you know, PC Chris versus Ken era stuff. Like, he just 3-stocked him, making it look like he is ahead of the meta. Like, what a, you know, just crazy second game.
Yeah, absolutely. Pretty challenging situation for Noot to come back from. 3-stock on his counter pick. And he needs to win 3 in a row against an Axe who's looking quite warmed up now, I think, after a really, really good set versus John Wick.
If you guys are just tuning in again, please check out the VOD for that. That was a fantastic set. John Wick living up to the lethality of his name was a very, very, very close Marth Ditto. But looks like we're going to Stadium. Oh, wow, that's an interesting choice. Kind of a good stage for Marth in a lot of ways.
Yeah, kind of half FD, and then you also get the good benefits of low platforms as well. Oh my gosh, the awareness!
These jabs, man. Jab is a funny tool in this matchup, you know? Like, you can go for lasers, and because jab has such good startup, and it's still a pretty solid hitbox, you can use it to interrupt stuff. And right there, we saw him, like, on the edge going for a jab, and it worked out so well.
Yeah, just so fast. It doesn't matter what character Axe is playing, he's going to find a way to play this character way faster than the average player. And there it is again, 2-stock advantage.
I know way differently is probably not the most articulate way to describe it, but you're so right that whenever he plays a character, he puts that kind of Axe special into it, you know? He makes it his own, and we're seeing that with his Marth right now.
Yeah, it's high-octane melee radar. Noot going to get on the board right now, but a full stock down on a stage that may be favoring the Marth so far in this game 3. Noot's got quite a bit of a mountain to climb.
Yeah, this is just, in general, kind of a tough matchup for Falco, period. And I think against a player like Axe, who just sort of had such a creative follow-up in the punish game and such a kind of deep understanding of neutral, it just makes it that much harder.
Waits the recovery, doesn't quite get the strong hit on the reverse Dolphin Slash, looks for the counter, not quite. Noot has his turn now.
You know, these counters are very strange. You know, counters
gave it up.
Yeah, counters a move you see a lot in edge guarding, but the frequency at which we're seeing it is really, really unusual. So I wonder if he'll start punishing that eventually.
Gab into Nair, not quite enough to do it, but just grabs ledge. What are you doing?
Oh man. Oh man. It's the, you know, the mental game of a Falco player versus Marth is tricky, you know? Marth's recovery is surprisingly good and surprisingly hard to cover as Falco. And so sometimes you feel like you need to really force it, and, you know, it can really backfire like what we just saw.
Yeah, Noot picking up the pace quite a bit. Oh, is that's got to be a gimme, but he's going to die for it.
Oh, he doesn't get
it. Right hard.
Yeah, I cannot believe he didn't die there, but, you know, still hanging on by the kind of skin of his teeth in winners. Noot is taking a lot of damage, though, and I think he might lose his stock right now. He's going for the jab. Oh, he doesn't get it.
Wow, Clinks. Yeah, I don't even think Double would have done it there. Noot with a second chance at life, but goes for the drift back, and that's it.
Yeah, that was maybe the most one-sided set we've seen all day. Actually, Daki DD was also pretty close, but I think that was a dominant performance. Makes me feel like Axe really could win the whole thing without Pikachu.
That was quite a set out of the max that we got to see firsthand. Really great stuff to Axe. He will be our final qualifier to top 16 on the winner's side. I don't know if that wraps up the bracket or not, but really good stuff to him. Noot, solid effort as well. We'll have another shot at making top 16 in the bracket of alternate success, but wow, yeah, what a set that was.
Oh, speaking of, by the way, you know, DD and John Wick faced off, and DD did take the set 3-1. So it looks like John Wick got knocked out. The Assassin's